Yes, ladies and gentlemen, episode 113 of Pokemon Horizons is part 2 of the Mega Evolution Special, and it's titled ULT Strongest. Here, just like I'd hoped for, we learn more about ULT as a character, so let's discuss what we learned. This episode is more character and backstory focused than the last episode. The episode continues from the last one where they lost to Lucario, and afterwards we see Roy and ULT eating a ton of food somewhere. Turns out that somewhere is with Emma, most likely at the Looker Bureau. We'll learn here that she can Mega Evolve too. Specifically, she can Mega Evolve her Ampharos to fix electricity issues in the building, which is pretty funny. During this meetup, we learn a few things. First, this is the first time that ULT has shown interest in something like Mega Evolution, and as she correctly points out, it's due to him having a friend in Roy. ULT lives with Emma. ULT was a kid, similar to Emma, living homeless in the back alleys of Lumio. She noticed him around town until one day when it was pouring, she invited him indoors, and similar to what Looker did for her, she taught him how to write, read, and now, seeing him get excited about Mega Evolution and having a friend like Roy, she hopes that he finds what he wants to do. She asks Roy to be ULT's friend, and Roy says he'll try. See, that's the issue with not having a backstory ready, because the first few episodes of Mega Voltage, you would never know that this conversation happened, because the writers didn't feel like they knew what they were doing with ULT. He annoys Roy, and Roy tries to get away from him multiple times, so his word to Emma here rings totally hollow, because we didn't see that be the case when we first met him. The conversation here also leads naturally to Roy, and he explains to Emma that he used to be a part of the Rising Volt Tacklers. I'm wondering how quickly the Exceed takeover happened, or how far along in his journey Roy was here, because there's already newspapers blaming the Volt Tacklers, but I thought that happened after Spinel took over. The timeline of this is weird. Is Roy's journey here really far along, or did the Spinel takeover happen instantly? I would love to know. We also get an answer here for a question I specifically asked last episode. Why is Cap with Roy? Roy says that after the Volt Tacklers disbanded, everyone went their separate ways, either home or school, and Roy decided he wanted to get stronger, so Cap came along with him. He doesn't know why, but he just did. And that makes sense to me. Cap has always been the type of Pokemon who wants to train to get stronger, and seeing Roy do that, he came with him. ULT tries to go back to Mayo's dojo, but the door is closed, and it's already pretty late at night. So, Roy suggests that they try again in the morning. The next morning, we see ULT trying to Mega Evolve, but is not able to. He thinks that maybe the keystone that Mayonnaise gave him might be fake, but Mayonnaise is there and counters his questioning and reasoning. He then gives them advice on Mega Evolving, that being that trainers need to be in tune with their Pokemon, and vice versa. So, in order to Mega Evolve, they need to improve their bonds with their Pokemon. To improve that, he has Roy and ULT battle against each other. This is where the bond between Roy and Crocodile really shows compared to ULT and Sableye. Roy has gone on adventures with his Pokemon and has done difficult battles in the past. So, he has complete trust to Crocodile and is able to dodge all of ULT's Power Gem, tiring out his Sableye before counterattacking. Even when Crocodile has his back turn, it's able to use Flame Charge to dodge just based on Roy's command. ULT is baffled as he loses as to why this is happening, and he even tries to have his Dust Ball Pokemon, Dragonite, come out, but it doesn't, and Mayonnaise calls a battle, giving Roy the victory. Mayonnaise tells him that he didn't truly believe in his Sableye and was depending on his Pokeball to save him, but ULT rejects that, saying that Sableye has been with him every step of the way. Of course he believes in him as a Pokemon, but Mayonnaise points out that that's not what it looked like in the battle. He says that ULT doesn't understand Sableye and is blind to Sableye's feelings. Even in the maze, Sableye saw the pit, but ULT didn't listen or care. He leaves him with, Mega Evolution is beyond your wildest dream. Give up on it. As ULT is reflecting, Yellow Blast shows up to shiny Lucario. It tells our heroes to follow it, and it leads them back to the maze. There they go back inside, and this time, ULT fully trusts Sableye. He follows him as it takes them through the maze, and he also jumps through the painting from before because Sableye noticed before that it was just paper, creating a massive shortcut for them. However, when our heroes go in, it isn't Lucario waiting for them this time, but rather two trainers with an Excelgor and an Escavalier respectively, and the episode ends with our heroes questioning who they are. This is a great episode that answered a lot of questions for me. One thing that I think is underrated that Pokemon has done recently both in the games and now in the anime is that they don't try to pretend like the world is a perfect utopia. The older anime and the older games had kind of a bad habit of making it seem like everything was a perfect utopia, and the only bad things happened because of the bad guys. But here, that's not the case. ULT is a homeless child, and so was Emma. In a fantasy world like Pokemon, that doesn't need to be a thing. I mean, trainers in the past anime are shown to be allowed to go to the Pokemon Center to sleep overnight for free. Money never comes up in the anime. But this showing here reflects a deeper truth about Lumio City and the Pokemon world as a whole. Outside the flashy exterior that is Lumio's, there's an unspoken poverty issue. Sure, ULT is able to make some pocket change by helping pick up trash, but if he didn't get lucky with Emma taking him in, he wouldn't have been helped by anyone else. It's a subtle yet effective storytelling device to let you know that the Pokemon world also has a lot of unresolved issues that can't be ignored. This leads to more questions. What led to Ult being homeless? What happened to his parents? Especially because we know that it was someone that gave him that Pokeball as a child. I would love to know more. We also get confirmation from Emma and a clear photo that showed that it was indeed Lucario who did the same for her as she's currently doing for Ult. Not surprising, but the degree of separation from the old anime to this one shrinks just a little more. Let's talk about Roy. I like how Roy is portrayed here. His battle ability isn't minimized to try and big up Ult. In fact, it's the opposite, and that stays true to his character and his strength. I don't know how many people picked up on it, but the show is saying that currently, if there was a Mega Ring for Crocalor, Roy's actually good enough to Mega Evolve right now, but he doesn't have the physical means to. Meanwhile for Ult, it's the direct opposite. He has the physical items, but not the bond or the battle skills required to. Part of his journey is to trust his Pokemon more. It's a good contrast for the two main characters of the special. Finally, the second half of this episode and the ending is all Mayonnaise related. He directly calls out Ult and his lack of ability emotionally, and he calls out something that even happened in the Mayo Maze prior. But how could he have ever known that unless he was watching? That's what makes the end of this episode interesting. It's clearly Mayo who bought these two random trainers to test our hero's ability. So despite seemingly not being in too much of the episode physically, he seems to be controlling and manipulating the whole Mega Evolution special. And I'm interested to see the endgame to it, and learn why he wants someone to have the shiny Lucario. I hope we learn more about that next time. But what about you guys? What did you guys think about this episode? Let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe for more. Have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.